How's it going, everybody? Jeff Slicky here in one of my favorite spots in downtown Shelton on the edge of their 1-year anniversary. I am at Marmo. Issa, how are you doing? Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in
Oh
today,
my
Jeff.
gosh, I love this spot. And, you know, you had to open up early basically for me so we could sit here and have a conversation. Because every other time I'm in here trying to get an interview done or something, the whole place is packed.
Yep, it can get pretty crazy at times.
So that's a great testament to you and making it through a year, which is very difficult for small businesses, especially restaurant type shops, coffee shops. In this climate these days, people have a lot of options, but a lot of people are choosing to come here. So that's awesome, first off.
I could not be more thankful.
Tell me a little bit about the past year, and if you want to go even before that, as you started conceptualizing this place, trying to figure out what you wanted to source, because there's local goods here in the back, as you can see. We can talk about that in a second, but kind of when you first woke up in the middle of the night and said, I have an idea for a coffee shop in Shelton, to today, tell me a little bit about the progression, how it's all come about.
Well, I have worked in restaurants and in the arts for my whole career, and I knew I wanted to open something when I moved here and just saw a need for more community gathering spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So the dream of Marmo came to be, and it slowly grew into what it is today. I will say that it's in large part due to the contributions of the community, and that's something that I didn't anticipate when I opened.
Okay.
Was that it was going to grow and become this like living entity. Yeah.
That's awesome. How'd you come up with the name?
Marmo means marble in Italian. I'm Italian. My dad is from Italy. He emigrated back about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he lives near Carrara, Italy, where marble comes from. So it's just a fun word. I thought it sounded cute.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a very good one here. Again, as I've mentioned, when we come in here, and I did an interview about Christmas Town like last week or so, and the whole place was packed. I really had to kind of move things around, make a ruckus as I get in here. But again, that's a great testament too. The coffee is always great as well. People love coffee here in the Northwest, so it's a great fit. The art aspect of things, you mentioned that you are in arts. You're also heavily involved in creating and then maintaining this creative art district in Shelton, passion of yours too. When it comes to the art, like where do you get it? How do people come to you and say, I'd love for you to show my piece off? And how has that changed over the year?
Well, yes, it is a huge part of this space. One of my main missions here is to provide free community art programming, to promote the arts. I really believe it leads to a higher quality of life. And I was part of like a grassroots DIY art project in Olympia before I moved here. And so I know a lot of artists. So when I first opened, I had a whole list of artists who I already knew I wanted to show. And this year, you know, I've kind of worked through a lot of that. And I mean, there's so many artists in this area. We're actually so lucky to be surrounded by so many talented people. And so it was mostly that I would reach out to people and invite them to show. But in 2025, I am going to have a couple open call exhibitions. So definitely stay tuned for that. You can find out more on our website, marmogallery.com.
Oh, nice. Good plug there.
Thank you.
The other thing about this, as you mentioned, this is kind of a community art space. I know you have done events here in the past year where people can come and sing or read poetry, kind of a poetry slam night, things like that. Plus, and again, as we mentioned, behind us here, there's a nice little section of goods and sundries that you can buy. So there's a lot of local things, and how do you get hooked up, or why did you decide to also add this aspect to the business?
I guess because before we had a brick and mortar space, we were operating online, and we mostly were a bookshop. And then moving here, it just sort of slowly expanded. Once the cafe came to be, I realized there was a need for more high quality local products. And things that you couldn't get anywhere else in the area. So we carry a lot of stuff ranging from provisions and house goods to art made by independent artists, local books from local authors, all kinds of fun stuff. And we are actually just like totally, it's as stocked as it can be right now for the holidays. So,
that's great.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Creative Arts District, so you're heavily involved with that. In addition to that, you've got stuff happening with downtown. We're actually, as I mentioned, on the edge of your 1-year anniversary, which coincides with the cookie stroll in downtown.
Yes, it sure does.
So you got to be excited about people coming through for the cookie stroll. And then next weekend is winter solstice. Is that where we're at already in the year? Oh my gosh. And you have something going on there?
Time flies.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, we're going to have a winter solstice celebration, which is a ticketed event. It's the first one we're doing, and it's going to be a huge feast and celebration. So we're going to have a huge charcuterie table, wine pairing. It's going to be a great time.
So you mentioned wine, and I know that's another addition that's come about in the last year. And I don't know if it takes that long to get permitted, or you just kind of finally got around to adding beer and wine, right? And so you're open early for folks to get caffeinated, and then you're going to be open late on the weekends. Is that right? For
yeah,
some
we're
wine?
open later Friday, Saturdays, and we have a full wine menu. The cold case has a lot of beer and cider in it, and yeah, we have fun stuff going on a lot of the time on weekends. So it's a great time to come down and hang out.
The other thing that I know, because people talk about how good the coffee is and the atmosphere here, but you also have food. There was somebody in here just as we were getting ready to shoot that got a coffee and a quiche or something like that. So you also offer food service. So,
and we make everything in-house.
And this was all part of the plan and adding all of these different layers? I mean, it was kind of a...
You know, it's interesting. It's sort of like growth is inevitable, but you don't know what people want until you find out what your community's needs are.
Right.
So as we started growing, I was told like, hey, can you carry this? Can you do this? And when we started to add things on, you know, people are either really receptive or they're not. And then you change plans accordingly. Yeah.
What is it? How have you liked it? And I think we've talked about this in our past interviews, but being here on CODA, which is going to be kind of part of the Total Creative Arts District. You're just up the road from City Hall, and so there's a lot of traffic that comes through here. Has that helped in the last year? I mean, obviously,
Definitely.
If you're like on a side street or something, it makes it tougher for folks to find you. But you're right here on the main drag.
Yeah. I mean, the improvements have been great. The lighting at night is really so pretty. I love it. The Christmas tree maze up the street is also really sweet. But yeah, more things are happening. A shop just opened up across the street from us, which, makes me so happy because I'm like, there's growth and things are happening. So
yeah. There was a lot of time. The radio station building is right across the street, and so we had all of our equipment in there. But I had seen it over these last 20 years. Kind of, there was a lot of stuff happening, and then it kind of dipped down for a while, and there wasn't a lot going on CODA, so it is nice to see this become a more utilized space for the city. So we're a year in.
We got a lot of fun stuff planned.
So the cookie stroll is coming up, and the 1-year anniversary. So what are you going to do to celebrate?
Well, we decided to bake cookies for Cookie Stroll this year. So we're making Italian amaretti cookies that are really good.
You need a taste tester?
Yeah, after the interview, you got one. And we have fun things planned throughout the day.
Okay.
So we're going to do mimosa hour from 10 to 11, free mimosa with your breakfast purchase. And then from 12 to 2, we're going to have a community art event that's going to be led by a local artist. It's going to be blind contour drawing, and it should be really fun. So
blind contour drawing. So
if you know, you know.
And I don't, so I'm asking. So am I blindfolded during this?
Not literally, but so you don't look at the paper when you're drawing. So you look at an object or a person and you draw without looking.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful sort of what comes out. So I think that she's going to be leading individual exercises as well as like one big community one that everyone adds to.
Man, can you lift your pencil up at least? I feel like I've done something like this, and you just go, and I guess if you lift up your pencil, you'll lose your spot. But Yeah.
You'll have to come
Beautiful,
by
you
and try it.
said? Yeah?
Yeah.
You haven't seen my...
I remember the KMAS poster.
Yeah, it was no bueno.
And then we are going to have a raffle, and later in the evening, we're going to have a champagne toast and a DJ. So,
Very
full
cool.
day of events. Yeah.
And then what are some of the additional, you've checked so many things off your list in the last year. What more is there that Marmo wants to do for the Shelton community, for the arts community, and for yourself here in the shop?
You know, ideas are one thing that I do not lack. I have so many goals and ambitions for wonderful things that can happen in this community. And I think as things get more settled here and I have a little more time, I really look forward to building more networks to support artists, helping support other venues, all kinds of great stuff with the Creative District to look forward to. We're partnering with a lot of other local arts agencies. One place that's really taking shape is in our Shelton Artist Collective, and we have meetups every month called the Creative Exchange, where people can come and exchange ideas and get to know each other. Yeah, but stay tuned, you know.
Last time I was in here, or 2 times ago, I think I was in here, there was a couple of gals that had come in and they saw this place on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So not only kind of the traditional newspaper, radio mediums, but also kind of new media is a good way to outreach and grow your base.
We're teaching Jeff about TikTok.
I don't know. I don't know anything about TikTok. But that has been, were you anticipating that kind of growth? Because when I think about coffee shops in Shelton, it does, in my mind, skew a little older, but you have to keep the base growing.
Right. Well, I think it's really hard for most small businesses to get the word out, like, hey, we're here, this is what we offer. I'm too old for TikTok, so I give free rein to some of our younger employees, and they have a great time with it, so more power to them.
If it works, it works.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of our clientele is older, and, you know, it's just a wonderful community. And
so if it's been a year, you've got to have regulars that come in daily or every other day, and then have a group meetups and stuff like that. This long table is great for that, but then also meeting new people. Like if you're just sitting here and you go, hey, pass the cream or whatever, then you have a conversation.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is most heartwarming to me is the networks that have been built here, the friendships. So people tell me, you know, I've met 20 new friends at Marmo this year, and that makes me just so happy.
That's huge.
That's a lot of friends.
That is a lot of friends. It's, again, a wonderful space, and you're able to do arts and crafts when you come down here. You're able to get some food, a great cup of coffee, some beer and wine as well. So new hours then, right? For on Friday, Saturday at least, or?
Yeah, they've been in place for a little while now, but yeah, we're open later. We're open till 6 on Friday, Saturdays, and we have a great wine list, and we do really fun, like small bites, marinated olives, charcuterie plates, and yeah, it's a great time to come.
And you make all that stuff?
I sure do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said a restaurant and arts background at the beginning. Was it a coffee-focused restaurant background or a food-focused restaurant background?
I worked in quite a few different establishments. So one of the last ones was as a barista at a coffee shop. And I've worked in that role multiple times before, but started out working as a hostess at the local pizza shop, and then worked my way into fine dining, worked at a couple Michelin-starred restaurants, and it really helped me cultivate my passion for creating meaningful experiences for people.
I'm just thinking out loud here, but have you thought ever, and I don't know how you would do this, but to do a class on how to make espresso foam art, like trees or hearts?
I don't know if I'm qualified, Jeff.
Well, you're probably more qualified than I am. I tried making something the other day, and it looked like a blob.
Yeah, we definitely take pride in our latte art here. We go to barista college, actually, at Olympia Coffee. So that's where my barista is today.
Wow.
They're learning her stuff, yeah.
What do you do there? You learn temperatures and...
oh, wow, it's so extensive. They teach you where the coffee comes from, who the local farmers are, all the way to how to perfectly dial in the espresso machine, how many
Oof.
grams of coffee you want to get in
Uh-huh.
there, all the way to latte art. So it's full spectrum.
That might be something for me to take. I have a espresso
I'll
machine at
connect you.
home, and
Yeah. That's where you can learn the latte
I've
art.
tried,
Yeah.
and it doesn't come out too well. Well, I'm super happy to be here celebrating with you this 1 year anniversary. Like I mentioned, it's tough to be in the restaurant business and make it a year. I mean, there's a lot of stories. For every success like this, there's 3 or 4 unsuccessful, unfortunately, attempts at these types of places.
Yes, it's definitely hard. I think all small businesses are struggling right now. The economy isn't great for luxury goods like coffee.
Yeah.
But we're hanging in here, and we just are so thankful for all the support from our community and our regulars. And
Well, with those extended hours on Friday and Saturday, and folks looking for places to gather and unwind on a Friday or Saturday, think about coming here to Marmo. Or during the day, you have a nice little coffee clutch and you hang out and chat for a little bit. As I mentioned, I appreciate you opening early for me so we can have this conversation before it gets too busy in here, because I know you got to get back behind the counter. But it is Marmo, marmogallery.com is the website. I'll put the links in the show notes as well. So come celebrate the 1 year anniversary, which happens to coincide with the cookie stroll in downtown Shelton. So a great opportunity to hit 13 spaces, including this one, when it comes to the cookies around downtown Shelton. And well, thanks for talking with me.
thanks,
And
Jeff. Thanks for being here.
it's always nice coming in here. It's a real nice feel and a really good atmosphere.
Thank you.